So Ace, actually, I want to talk about this comparison between real estate and business and buying business.
Mm,
So,
yeah.
everyone is talking about buying real estate. We talk about it as one of the three pillars of wealth creation for the Black Business School, along with stock market investing and small business entrepreneurship. So, those three things that we find to be the three pillars. But most of our classes and courses in the past have focused on starting something from scratch.
Hmm.
And when I talk to real estate people, though, the reason they get into real estate is because like I have an income generating asset right away. Like that's what they
Yeah.
always tell us and tell me. And then when I mention to them like, well, I guess you could also do the same thing with buying a business too. They kind of look at me with a little bit of shock and awe. It's like really,
Yeah.
and like maybe a little bit of confusion.
Yeah.
So can you talk about like I guess compare and contrast real estate investing versus buying assets like businesses?
Well, it took me a long time to realize this, and it's kind of one of the most basic aspects of economics that sometimes we don't. It's never talked about, so we don't realize it. But when you go into a social event and you're asking people, "Hey, are you investing in the stock market?" Or a great majority of people are going to say yes. When you ask them, are you investing in real estate? You're going to have a smaller percentage. But when you ask them, have you invested in buying a business? Literally, there will just be 0% unless you happen to be at a conference about buying businesses. So, what that means and what that leads to is there is a huge market that nobody's talking about. There's about to be $1 trillion transfer in wealth in small businesses as baby boomers are starting to have to exit their business, not even because they want to, it's just they have to exit those businesses. And there are very, very few people that are buying those businesses. And it's just the case with anything. The reason that the best real estate investments that you can make are when you find an area before anybody else is interested, and you can buy land there, and then all of the development and everything comes in your direction and increases the prices. Well, it's the same thing with businesses. There's nobody that really does these deals. And I've seen just over the last 20 years, especially when it comes to even internet businesses, that first business I bought was basically what we call a one multiple. Basically, in 1 year, I'm going to get all of my money back. And I've seen that increase to two and sometimes three multiple. But the reason is because there are very few buyers, and there's starting to be a little bit more attention there. But the really amazing thing to me was I bought a business that invests in real estate. So I bought what's called a home investors franchise. And some of you will live in areas where you'll see the billboards that says, "We buy ugly houses." Well, after buying a mortgage company, I was looking to buy. One of my strategies when I'm buying businesses is, where can I find another business that's complementary? And so, after I bought the mortgage company, it's, oh, let me see if I can invest in a title company. And then, what's even better, like, what if we're generating the mortgages by going out and doing these deals and that kind of thing? So I bought a home investor franchise that was, at that when we bought it, buying about 50 houses a year. We took it to buying about 80 houses a year. And I was very excited. Mind you, this is 20 years ago. Robert Kiyosaki is the hottest thing out there. I had already bought a business that was a one multiple, getting all my money back in 1 year. Bought a mortgage company that was basically the same. And so here I was, like, I was, just because of all the hype, I was really excited to build my portfolio of real estate and rental properties. So ended up building up a portfolio of 36 units. And it was just frustrating for me. Here I was buying businesses. Within 2 years, I'm getting 100% of my money back, everything. And then that's with debt. I'm getting 100% of the debt and the money. If you look at just the amount of the down payment I would put on the business, in 2 years, you're talking, three times return, 300% return. It ended up being a situation where I'm looking at my real estate and I'm like, man, I'm like, how much equity have I built in this? And it's been 3 years and I'm managing it and I'm dealing with the renters and all of that. So it was really just came down to a comparison thing. Now, the truth is, it's going to take more work when you are buying a business. But when you look at, okay, if I buy a business for 300,000, I buy that at a 2 multiple, and it's going to pay for itself in 2 years. I'm really into kind of the velocity of income and being able to then take that income once that's paid off and put that towards another business and create kind of a snowball effect, which is what people do in real estate, but it just takes a little bit longer. And so those were the two big factors. Number one was realizing like, okay, in this space, when I go to buy business, 9 times out of 10, there's just no other real competition. There's, I want, it's funny. Whenever I meet with a seller and I'm their first meeting, I tell them, listen, go meet with some other people first. I don't want to be the first person that makes you an offer. I want you to feel like I'm trying to take advantage. I want you to go and see what it's like. And then they go out there, and unlike real estate, the average person just has no frame of reference for buying a business. And this is why if you learn this stuff, it puts you way ahead of the competition, because when it comes to real estate, even the average person who's never owned their own home gets the simple logistics of how it works. They know what a mortgage is. I got to go to the bank, I fill out application, get an idea of how a mortgage works. They know what an appraiser is. I'm going to pay the appraisal. He's going to tell me what the value is. I get that to the bank. Then what an inspector is. All these things, like we have an uncle that bought a house. We've seen commercials. When it comes to buying a business, the average person has never been in any conversation. They don't have an uncle that's done it. They, don't know what the process is to be able to acquire it and all the specifics and what goes into it. And so when you understand this, and especially once you get into understanding some of the more advanced strategies, which even those have been exhausted with all of the gurus that are in real estate, when you get into being able to talk to a seller and tell them like, listen, go talk to these other people first. And the other people come in and it becomes very obvious, like, okay, I don't trust this person to run my business. If I care about the employees, I don't want them to buy it. If I care about the business and my legacy, I don't want them to buy it. I'm certainly not going to offer them any seller financing or do anything like that. And I get people all the time, because we talk about some of the deals that we close pretty publicly and deal structures and that kind of thing. And I get people to ask me, how did you get them to finance that and do that? And it's hey, like, we know how to get them comfortable with doing a deal that's structured the way that we need them to structure it. But yeah, there's so little competition. The competition is so bad that I want, the last thing that a real estate guy wants is, hey, go talk to 10 other real estate investors before you come back to me. And that's the thing I ask for.